Project Snowblind is a first-person shooter that was developed by Crystal Dynamics, published by Eidos Interactive and released on the PS2 and Xbox in February of 2005. Originally intended as another entry in the popular Deus Ex series, at some point during development, Project Snowblind became its own separate thing, but it still went on to score quite favourably with critics. Set in a futuristic Hong Kong, our game opens up with our hero Nathan Frost arriving for his first day as part of the international peacekeeping force, the Liberty Coalition. It appears that Hong Kong is on the brink of civil war, and Nathan is part of the army stationed in this part of the world to help keep things calm. This immediately goes tits up as the Coalition's base is attacked by a militant regime named the Republic, and Nathan, while trying to be a hero, gets himself beaten up pretty bad. This is okay though, because it's the future, and that means that Lieutenant Frost can be saved with a whole bunch of cool augmentations. The first of his kind, he gets a bit of a promotion and now leads the way in stopping the Republic from causing even more chaos. Does the story get more interesting from here? Not really. I mean, it's not bad by any means, but it does feature a lot of generic characters and generic dialogue. Luckily, all of it borders more on the side of cheesy rather than straight-faced, so it's all enjoyable.
So then, Lieutenant, are you well enough to perform your duties?
I'm willing to bet my life on it.
So am I, Lieutenant. Dismissed.
If you were to ask me what is Project Snowblind's strength, I would say variety. On the surface, this game looks like the run-of-the-mill first-person shooter, but the more you play, the more you realise that there is a bit more to it than that. While it does present you with 18 linear missions to run through all guns blazing, you have quite a few options on how to do so, as you will almost immediately build up a decent collection of weapons with a pistol, assault rifle, sniper rifle, shotgun, rocket launcher and about 4 types of grenades at your disposal by the end of the 3rd mission. Not only do you have all of these weapons, but each of them has a primary and secondary fire. The assault rifle has a grenade launcher, the pistol can shoot some type of missile, and the shotgun can fire 5 shells at once somehow. On top of all this, you also have Nathan's handy augmentations. This super soldier will gradually unlock more abilities as you work your way through the game. Initially you begin with a vision mode that allows you to spot enemies better, but it isn't too long before you're able to amp up your reflexes so that everything else moves in slow motion, and you'll also unlock a sort of energy shield that makes you invincible for a short period of time. So as you can see, there is a lot to work with here, and even when you don't feel like doing the shooting yourself, you can hack enemy turrets and robots to do the shooting for you, and it is impressive how much stuff is crammed into this game, as you can definitely tell it has a connection to the Deus Ex series. At this point you may be thinking, okay, you've told me about all of the weapons and abilities, but how do they feel to use? And my reply would be, totally fine. If I were to pick at this game, I would say that I wasn't 100% satisfied with the shooting itself. The main trouble I ran into were the controls, as I found the movement of both analog sticks a little bothersome at times. It sort of feels like there is a bit of a dead zone where small nudges allow you to walk and aim at a snail's pace, but anything more than that and your reticle can start to fly all over the place. This doesn't make the game unplayable, but it can sometimes get frustrating trying to land your shots. The game can also get quite chaotic at times due to the AI not always being the brightest and sometimes charging straight towards you. This would be fine, however I don't think the game does the best job of providing feedback on when you're taking damage, as the majority of my deaths were a result of me being caught in a firefight, unaware that I had been flanked, and before I realised it, all of my health was gone. These are all small problems with what is generally a fun time. This game is all about the action and it provides it in abundance, but it also gives you plenty of ways to fight your way through, so its short campaign doesn't grow stale. Most of the enemies aren't that interesting to fight, but it's a first-person shooter that you'll find it hard to take issue with as you blaze through everyone in super soldier fashion. Project Snowblind also makes the grade in terms of visuals. The sci-fi version of Hong Kong is not only an interesting setting, but also a well-crafted one. The environments are traditional structures with a futuristic flair, and whether you're indoors or outdoors, the world definitely feels like it has an aesthetic that it sticks to and is rendered well. Textures are solid, the lighting is decent, and generally the assets throughout add to the world that feels lived in. The game does stumble in a few spots. Some of the weapons look more detailed than others, character models can look a little subpar at times, and the animation does come across as a tad basic, even for 2005. These blemishes don't ruin the game. The spectrum of good to bad isn't a big one, meaning nothing looks horrendously bad in comparison to the rest of the game. Now, audio-wise, Project Snowblind is pretty much what you'd expect considering the rest of the aspects of the game. I wouldn't call the gunfire punchy, but I wouldn't call it limp. I wouldn't call the soundtrack memorable, but I also wouldn't call it impactful. Everything sounds okay, but the mixing of the audio was a little off at times, as I found the soundtrack drowned out the voice work in some cutscenes, and as mentioned earlier, while the dialogue is generic, its cheesy delivery makes up for it.
Ballistic shielding. Watch this. Didn't get hurt there, did you?
Overall, Project Snowblind was actually a nice surprise for me, and I'm still wondering how I never picked this up back in the day, as it's definitely my kind of game. It's a game full of action that features a silly but tolerable story, it features a wide variety of weapons to choose from, a handful of cool abilities to give you the upper hand, and a campaign that doesn't overstay its welcome. The controls aren't perfect, and some of its presentation is a bit uneven. I certainly wish that these kinks had been ironed out during the development process, but I think the best way to sum up this game is to say that you could absolutely do a lot worse.